Hello, good day, and welcome to Mog Senior High School. This is Sir Glenn Cadizarandillo for 21st Century Literature, Lesson 4, Literary Biographical, Linguistics, and Socio-Cultural Context. This is for Sports 12 of Mog Senior High School. Let's proceed. Alright, so what I need to know, you know the drill. We have this objective, analyze selected literary works by writers from Visayas and Mindanao, identify the context given literary text, relate the context to literary text, and situate the place in literary text in the context of a region where the writer is from and of the nation. Alright, so what is it? Literary text. Okay, the literary text is a piece of written material such as a book or a poem or any text written and of course written by a writer for purpose of telling a story or entertaining as in fictional novel. Okay, so the context. Alright, example here, the old women in our village. So I want you to read this one by Merlia Lunan. Um, Old women in our village. Right, so of course, after that, there is an explanation of the poem Old Women in Our Village. Okay, so read that one. Example 2, A Harvest of Sorrows by Gutierrez Mangansakan. So I want you to read that one. Okay, um, there are important points to remember in the Harvest of Sorrows. Okay, remember the context, the imagery, cacophony, and euphony. So what's new? Alright, as your output for this lesson, compose a two-stanza poem about the nature using the sound devices cacophony and euphony. Write your answer in your notebook. So remember the cacophony, this sound device refers to the words or phrases which harsh sounds that create a disturbing tone. Euphony, this sound device refers to a word or phrases with melodic, like a calming tone, sounds that create a calming tone. Alright, so I want you to compose a two stanza poem, meaning um, like two paragraphs. Okay, but it's a poem, two stanza. Alright, so it's up to you how many verses you want, as long as that's the limit. But if you want to write more, you may. Okay, so literary reading, biographical context. What I need to know, alright, so answer this one in your notebook. Now, there is an explanation of what is biographical context. It places a particular um, literary work with within the context of the author's life. So, biography of the author. So, example, aba nakakabasa na pala ako. It is a masterpiece of Bob Ong. So, you read that, aba nakakabasa na pala ako. There are online copies of that. Instruction, read the essay entitled Siliman in the 70s, A Personal Journey of Anthony L. Tan. So, read this one here, the essay. Okay. After reading the essay, oh, I want you to understand. Read it as many as possible, many times as possible. Alright. Then answer the questions below. What is the essay all about? Whose life is discussed in the text? Where does the narrator come from? And how was the life of the narrator during his stay in Silliman University? Assessment in your activity notebook. Alright, answer this one. What I need to know for literary reading through linguistic context. Okay, instruction. Okay, the following items, what I know, in your activity notebook, the following items by identifying whether they are true or false in your notebook. Write true if the statement is factual, and if not, write false. Okay, linguistic context is a discourse that surrounds a language unit and helps you to determine its interpretation. I want you to read this one, an example, an excerpt from Puppy Love by F. Chanel Jose. Also, from Jose Garcia Villa, Lyrics 17. I want you to read that one. There is an explanation. I want you to read the explanation. Okay, there. Literary reading through social cultural context. Social cultural context is evident when literary works respond in some way to the society in which they were written, and most often that response takes from the form of criticism. Okay, example, aba nakakabasa na pala ako. Ben Singkol by F. Chanel Jose. You read that one. So answer that's what's new here. Okay, in your activity notebook. Then what's more instruction? Read a story entitled Pinikas by Jason Parba and answer the questions. Write your answers in your notebook. Alright, so the story by Parba, Pinikas, Unang Bahin. Syaro di mo makasabot aning Bisaya, mangkain eh. Pinikas, kahangunit kulang. Dito, just kidding. Alright, so Pinikas, ikaduhang bahin. Read one. So since this is a literature class, so we need time to read. But I'll give you time for submission. Okay, before you will submit, I'll give you an ample time for you to read and understand the activities. Answer the questions right after. Okay, what is the story all about? What are parts of the show, social cultural context? Based on the story, how does the show about the characteristics of Filipinos and assessment? Answer that in your separate notebook. And of course, we're done. So for this module, for this lesson 4, you will be reading, you'll be having a lot of time for you to read and understand the different examples and the different stories provided. Okay, so I'll give more instructions later on in our GC. Have a good time. Thank you for watching. I'll see you and thank you very much.